Hey there, Abiding fam, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey Lee, and today we are diving into my Abiding journal to create a really fun interactive entry. I was sort of inspired by children's books and how they have lots of flaps and systems and pulleys that you can play with, and I wanted to bring that interactive nature to my journal by creating this pulley system to make this kayak on the page move as if it's moving across the water. So I'm going to be showing you exactly how to do that in this video. So stay tuned. But first, we have to start with the memories. So I printed out a bunch of photos and then gathered my other supplies. In this case, I'm planning on using my printable set from Patreon. These are illustrations that I design every month for my patrons, and you can get access to them by checking out patreon.com/myabidingjournal. It is a great way to support my channel and to get some awesome content in return, including exclusive videos and these printables. So these are essentially ones that you print out at home, and I like to print mine on sticker paper, which as you're going to see comes in really handy. And then it's just a matter of cutting them out. I do provide PNG files for those who have cutting machines and are able to cut them out using their cutting machines, but for those of us who just want to play with good old scissors and our little cutting board, that works just as well too. So I cut out a few of the ones I wanted to use for this page, which were this beautiful blue jay illustration, the go outside title, and then the kayak. And then it came down to just playing around with my layout and where do I want the photos, where do I want these stickers, and all of the different elements, and how do they fit together. And sometimes I realized that they don't fit together, and maybe I need to trim down things even more, which was the case for the go outside sticker. I decided to take off the flowers and just keep it a little bit more simple. And at this point in the entry, in designing this page, I did not have the pulley system in mind. That actually did not come until I broke out my Arteza watercolors. I originally thought that I was going to do this watercolor background that I would do my journaling over, and then everything else would get pasted down on the right side of the page, sort of how I had it laid out earlier. So I wanted the watercolor to look like the river, and so I played a lot with different blues and layered them on top of each other, thinking that this would just be my background for my journaling. But once I laid all of that beautiful color down and put the kayak back onto the page, it occurred to me that it would be so cool if I made the kayak move across the water. And so I decided to do exactly that and cut off the little oars and make the kayak stand on its own and try to create a pulley system to move the kayak. So to start, I needed the kayak to be a little bit sturdier, so I grabbed a piece of watercolor paper and put the sticker onto the watercolor paper. The next step is then to cut into the journal page itself. So you want to essentially create the track for your pulley system to move along. Whatever item it is that's going to move, you want a starting point and an ending point. And so you're going to stick your scissors into the page, or an X-Acto knife if you have one, and then just have a line going across your page, and that'll be where it stops and ends. So we're not cutting all the way through the page, but just for whatever segment we want. And then we need to create our pulley system that's going to be behind the page. And for this, I just took a small piece of watercolor paper again, and I decided to round the corners for where the pulley tab is going to be because I thought that would look a little bit nicer. But essentially, this piece of paper is going to be behind the journal entry, and we're going to attach the kayak to it to move the kayak up and down. But I wanted to make sure that if you see the mechanism through the divide in the page, that it would blend in seamlessly with the rest of the journal entry. So we did add some watercolor to make sure that it blends in. And then I added this little bar to the end, thinking that that would be important to stop the mechanism from going out the top, but the kayak actually achieves that all on its own because of where it needs to stop, so that part isn't necessary, but I wanted to show it to you so that you wouldn't be concerned or confused as to why that bar is there in the rest of this footage. So then we put the mechanism behind the page, and we're going to now attach the kayak to the mechanism. And for this, I decided to use sticker paper. So I cut off a little strip of sticker paper, no bigger than the width of the kayak itself, and divided it into two pieces. And these two pieces I am going to stick to the back of the kayak to essentially make little brackets. So I'm going to fold them in half and make a little attachment where one half is going to be on the mechanism. Sorry, the footage is not a little blurry here, but the one half is going to be attached to the mechanism, and then we'll just fold the rest over the back. And then the other half is going to stick up through the slit in the page that we created, and we're going to attach then the kayak to that part. So basically you have the mechanism under the page and the kayak on top of the page, and this sticker paper is what is attaching the two pieces together. So we are going to begin, as I said, by attaching the sticker paper to the pulley system, the long piece of paper that we created to be behind the page that's going to pull the kayak up and down. So I just attached the one half of the sticker paper to that and folded over the backs. So it's attached on top, as you can see there. And then I just folded the excess over the back to secure it even more. And then these pieces that are sticking up are going to go through the slit in the page that we created. So I'm just going to pull those through there, and then we're going to flatten them out, and then when we pull off the other sticker paper backs, we can attach our kayak to it. So as you can see, that's going to move up and down very easily. And then when we just take off the sticker backs and flatten them out, so that's going to make it nice and flush on the page. Then we can add the kayak onto those sticker backs. And now the kayak is attached to that sticker paper and the pulley system is attached to the sticker paper, which means when you pull on the pulley system, it's going to move the kayak. Now, to be able to pull the pulley system, we need a little slit at the top of the page that we're going to stick the top of that pulley system through, just like so. And now we can pull on that little tab, and it's going to move the kayak up and down. Now, I obviously did not do a lot of measurement when I was doing this. I was just playing around. So in a perfect world, I would have measured better, and I didn't actually need as big of a slit in the page, or I should have made my pulley system a little bit longer. But all in all, it does work, and it worked pretty well. Now, what I wanted to prevent was the pulley system from disappearing into the page now that we've attached the page to the next page in my journal, so that way you don't see the pulley system. When you turn the page, it's just going to take you to the next journal entry. So I needed a way to stop the pulley system from disappearing into that no man's land between my two pages that I've stuck together. And so to do that, I just made a little bracket, I guess you could call it, that is just a longer piece that is going to extend beyond the edges of that little slit that the pulley is through, so that way it can't go any further down into that top slit. And I don't love the look of that, so as you're going to see, I'm going to later put the oars over that. But that essentially, friends, is how you create a pulley system in your journal. And you can, of course, do this with anything. It doesn't have to be a kayak moving on a river. You could really be creative and have a lot of fun thinking about things that you could have move on your page. You also don't have to do it vertically. You could have the pulley system move from left to right or vice versa. So lots of fun things you can do with this system. So, of course, this page is not quite done yet, though. So, then it came to bringing back all of those photos and other fun printables that I wanted to feature on this page. And so, I'm just taping down my photos using my tape runner. And to make sure that I get even spacing, I like to start outward and then work my way in so that the center photo was the last one I put on the page. And then, as I said, I wanted to cover up the little bracket that we created to prevent the pulley system from disappearing into the page. And I decided to use the little oars to do that. And my idea was to just simply take off part way the sticker back, put it onto the pulley system where I wanted it, and then just fold the sticker back over so that it is perfectly flush with the sticker itself and it covers everything up nicely. I didn't need to add other paper to it. I could just use the sticker back to prevent the stickiness, right, from getting it caught on the page. And then I added a few more printables and of course the date using my number stencil and a micron. And I wanted to bring some color to that date and I was able to play with some of my paint pens that normally bleed through the journal entry, but because this is actually 2 pages glued together now, I didn't have to worry about that bleed through. And then, of course, fam, the final step is always my journaling. That's pretty much my standard process is do all of the creative bits first and leave myself room for journaling. And what I love about this pulley system and the journaling underneath it is that it requires you to move the kayak using that pulley system in order to read all of the journaling because depending on where the kayak is on the page, it's always covering up some of my words. So you have to move it out of the way in order to read my journaling. So that, friends, is my journal entry. That is how I created an interactive storybook moment in my journal. Our journals are our stories, and your stories are worth telling. So I hope that this video has inspired you. If it did, please do give it a thumbs up and join the Abiding fam by hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell so you find out when future content is released. I also hope that you'll consider checking out my Patreon page to get access to these printables. And lastly, I always love to hear from you, so please let us know down in the comments how you like to make your journals interactive. That's it for this video, fam, but I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Until then, keep exploring your abiding creativity and document a life abiding in faith, hope, and love.